Alright, I'm going to show you guys how to make a vortex. First thing that we need to do is we need to make two curved lines. Right in the middle, just like that. And then we're going to draw a series of lines in between, connecting them. And the further that you go from the center, the more I want you guys to make each of these lines an arc. So start, it doesn't matter if you go up or down, but start in the middle until you get to the end of where you've drawn your lines. Head the other direction now. And it's okay if you stop a little bit short. When you get to the ends of this, what you're going to do is you're actually going to keep doing these lines, but you're going to start on the outside of our central piece here. So the next line is going to start here, and it's actually going to go around like so, connect up to the other side. And then you can actually try and space it in between these two. The next one, same thing. And we're going to bring these all the way out to the edge of the circle. Now, one thing that you need to remember, just like with these lines, they're going to get shallower, meaning they're going to become less of a curve as you move out, until just like here in the center, they're going to be straight. So you'll see harder curve, less hard, less hard. And it's an even less of a curve, because as we go we want these to be essentially straight by the time they get to the middle. So if we try and make them less and less curved as they go out, that becomes easier. Now, if you don't quite nail these, all you gotta do is erase and go back. I'm going to stop there and I'm going to restart this at the top. So do the same thing. We're going to start on the outside again. We're going to go around and we're going to come back in like that. Same thing, we'll go down here, we'll go around, same thing. We're going to make this less of an angle. Even less of a curve as they come out here. And then we're almost to that part that's going to be straight. And that's actually going to be pretty close to there. So I'm actually going to flip back down now, and I'm going to make one more here that's almost straight, just slightly curved. And then in between, now that we're at the middle, we can pretty much go straight out to the side and straight out to the side. Now if you've done this more or less, see, now I'm going to go back over, excuse me, and I would actually say that this line was not totally happy with. I'm going to make that just a little bit less of a curve. Yours does not have to look exactly like mine, but so this is the basic vortex. Now, the rest of what we're going to be doing here is just shading. We're going to have a highlight that runs through the middle, which I will show you how to do. Oh, and you know what? And as I look at this, that looks just a little uneven to me, but that's why we're doing this now, so that I can make that look. Not 100% happy with it, but at this stage you want it to look as symmetrical as possible. Okay, so next part, you're going to shade these so they look like, so they're light in the center, darker as you get out to the sides. What do I mean? We'll start right here in the middle, and I'm gonna start really light, and as I get closer to the edge, I'm gonna get darker and darker and darker. Same thing here. Light, 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 dark, dark, dark. And all I'm doing is holding my pencil sideways and pressing harder. I go a little outside the lines just to erase it. Same thing here. Light, light, light. Dark, dark, dark. I'm just pressing harder and harder. More strokes in there. And what this is going to do is it is going to give it sort of a look that it is bright in the middle, darker on the sides. And this isn't perfect. Like, it looks like, as I'm looking here, my line should probably have been just a little bit more like that. Excuse me. That's okay, because I can always go through and correct it. You guys can do the same thing if yours is not quite to your liking. So, and we're doing every other one here, so let's get that one and we'll go. We can always come back in and shade this more. I'm just more trying to give you the idea of how this should look. You can also hold your pencil like that. I know I've shown you this technique before. We're going to do the same thing now, going back through that way. Closer you are to this side, you want to make it dark. So ideally it should be lightest here and darkest along this edge, and it can get a little lighter as you go out. Now at this point you have the basic shading down. What you can do is come back through and refine it. So there's going to be a shadow along here the entire thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and I'm going to start to darken along the edge. And then slowly blend it outward. Is go ahead and just lightly erase right down the middle here, just to make that highlight even more evident. And even just that little bit of not being able to see that line as well will sell your illusion that much more. Now, after you've colored everything, and I'm not done here, I do definitely want to go back through and darken up all these areas. We can also do a little bit of blending. Easiest way to blend is you just take your finger and rub along the areas that you've already colored, and it's just gonna smudge those lines enough that you can that you're not gonna see your pencil lines as much. If your whites are starting to get a little black, these here, just come back through with one of those erasers and clean that up. That's usually one of the last things I do. Another thing that you can do is you can always cover your paper with just another piece of scratch paper, and then as you shade, your hand isn't rubbing up against there and making as many smudges. And so what you guys are going to do is, for the balance of the class, I just want you to work on shading in these lines, filling in, and trying to get these as smooth as you can. If you go anywhere outside the lines like I did, just erase it. And you want to make sure that these areas right here are the darkest. And so yeah, when you're done, make sure that you put your name on it and make sure that you hand it in. And that's more or less that. I'm going to just keep going through here and making my shading as even as I can. Another thing you might see me doing here is I'm holding my hand onto, I'm literally have a second hand under here to keep my actual hand off. So it's just my pencil that's on there and shading. And you really just want to go through and make sure that you're filling in all these areas that should be shaded. You might notice that I really haven't, other than like if I'm going in here, I really haven't held my pencil down here. I'm holding mostly either back here or on a top-down grip, which I've known I've shown everyone at least once. Either one of those is doable. Even if you can't do this grip, literally just hold your pencil further like you normally would, but further back. Alright. Well, friends, enjoy, and if you feel like you're finished before the end of class, keep working it, because I could probably sit here for an entire class period just doing what I'm doing right now. But I'm going to be looking for you to, I'm not going to look for your lines to be perfect, but I'm going to look and see if it looks like you actually spent some time just doing what Mr. Blickley's doing right now. Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys another time.